Previously on The Big Break, a nationwide search found 10 scratch golfers united by one goal, a crack at 4 exemptions on the Canadian Tour.
I think for a lot of these guys, this is going to be the biggest opportunity that ever comes along in their life.
They traveled from far and wide.
I'm here!
Arriving at Treetops Resort, not knowing what to expect.
Okay, where are we going? Are we going to have air conditioning? We're going to have running water? What's the deal here? Hey, buddy.
What's going on, man?
After settling in, the games began. A taste of the skills challenges to come, and a chance to size up the competition. But no one was eliminated. This week, that will all change.
The laughing and the joking, to me, it comes to an end.
Rick Smith is here.
Let's do it.
And someone will be sent packing, leaving 9 to battle for their big break.
In the morning, we just kind of got up, did our normal routine, kind of just, everybody had their cup of coffee. It was nice just to get up and just kind of relax and chill.
Creaks and stiff.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
We were ready to go, talking it up last night, wondering what we were going to have in store for us. Didn't have a clue.
So if you could have anything for breakfast this morning, having it be the last day for one of you guys, what would you eat?
The longest, slowest meal possible.
I felt pretty relaxed about today. I knew it was going to be a day full of adventure, for sure. The sad part about today was I also knew that someone was going to be eliminated.
The fact that someone was going to be gone, yeah, I was nervous about that. I was just hoping that it wasn't going to be me. But as far as what we were going to do, the type of shot, wasn't nervous about that. Didn't know.
Good to see you. How are you?
Anthony Sargento.
Anthony, how you doing?
Jeff Brown.
Hey, Jeff.
Garrett Garland.
Hi, Garrett. You know, everybody talks about how do you get to the next level. A lot of the shots that you're going to be hitting in this series are going to be very important to the rest of your life. Guys, you have to be really excited about the 4 Canadian exemptions to be able to go out and play. What's it mean to you to get out there and have a chance to play?
It's pretty awesome, just to get an opportunity to get some exemptions to show your talents.
Great.
You know, you've played with other guys who's been out there, and you feel that you want to be out there, so you get an opportunity to do that, so it's going to be great.
Well, we're so happy to have all of you on the big break. I am sorry to say that one of you is going to be eliminated today and will be going home. But hey, you know what? We've got lots of challenges ahead, so you guys ready?
You bet.
All right, let's roll.
The guys and I, we talked. We don't want to see anybody leave, but that's the nature of their sport. Someone has to, you know, be on their way. Someone has to lose in this competition.
Anybody want 2 aside? 2 aside? That's a NECA. We needed a mascot. Any man 2 aside? He's the man. 2 aside? I was trying to get a game, couldn't get a game. And since they say I run my mouth the most or whatever, you know, I got to be in the lead group.
I don't know if these guys are ready for this.
I don't know. We'll see.
We were talking to some of the kids that work at the golf course, and they said, well, the Golf Channel has our range picker. You know, what could they possibly be doing with that?
Well, we weren't sure because we were sitting there in the cart. We were trying to guess, well, there's this cart thing. We had no idea, and then we started to put it together.
They're going to park that one right there.
It's going to go back and forth right there, and you're going to hit from that set of teeth.
What in the world have we gotten into here?
Way to go, Jeff.
Good job. Good job. Great job.
That was good.
Not bad for an old guy. I was fortunate enough to shoot 900 in the front and 500 in the back at 58. I keep on rolling in some numbers that are pretty staggeringly low. You know, I get them way under par where other people haven't been before, or very few people, and I know that I've got this capability.
Everyone that plays with him wants to play with him again just to watch him play because he's so good.
I'm real long, I'm real straight, hit a lot of greens, and I just love the game. You know, I know there's something out there for me.
I don't know if these guys are ready for this.
I don't know. We'll see.
They're going to park that one right there.
It's going to go back and forth right there, and you're going to hit from that set of teeth.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
All right, we're great. Let me tell you a little bit about the next skills challenge. You're gonna have 90 seconds to hit as many balls as you can into the cart. We're gonna spice it up a little bit for you because the cart is gonna be moving back and forth.
This is the truest test of your hand-eye coordination, because if you're a mechanical guy, you don't have time to think. You just got to react. So this is going to be interesting to see how they do it.
It's going to be very interesting. Now remember, the winner not only wins the skills challenge, but also will win a mulligan, which is going to be so important in the next elimination challenge, okay? And also, the winner wins a Sony home theater system.
Wow.
So there's a lot at stake here, all
I
right?
can go over to the bunkhouse so you guys have something to watch.
Each competitor has 90 seconds to hit balls into the moving funnel. The order of play is chosen at random. If a ball lands inside of the funnel and bounces out, it counts. The player with the most balls in the funnel wins the all-important mulligan, which is worth an extra shot in the upcoming elimination challenge.
What in the world have we gotten into here? It was kind of ironic because we were out practicing last night in front of our little bungalow here, some little chip shots into a trash can lid. But we were practicing some of those same shots, but it wasn't moving.
You're up, Jeff.
Okay.
Here it comes.
Come on, room dog. You gotta keep
Come
on
on.
firing, dude.
Come on.
Look at that.
Oh.
There you go, right there. Look at this.
Once we found out what the first challenge was, is one of the stronger part of my game as far as the chipping and everything like that. So once I found out that was it, then I said, okay, we're ready. I've been always ready for that part.
When I first started hitting, it was like everything was smooth. I was, that left wrist was just straight. I was going through, I was popping them right at it, and it was either going over or right short.
Oh, nice shot.
Good. Oh, there he goes.
If I had it to do all over again, I would have never spilled the balls because a lot of my time was lost simply because I had to move one ball out of the way. I would have knocked one ball off the top, chipped it, and went that way.
All right. Good luck. Get him, John. Go on, flex.
I'm a slow player. I'm an analytical player. So when I saw the challenge and I knew that you kind of had to chip it into the basket while the car was moving forward and backwards, it was unbelievable.
There you go. There you go.
45, John.
Little divot. First thing I said was, damn, here we go with these tight lines again, and I left my other sand wedge at home.
There you go. Oh, oh. Go, yes.
There's one.
There you go. You got it.
Oh, that's good.
Excellent.
About probably 45 to 50 seconds into it when I realized 30 seconds is coming, man, I started just getting nervous. It's like, oh no, I gotta get another one in.
10 seconds, Jeff.
There it is.
Oh.
You got it, man. That's it.
Yeah.
You're in good shape.
John. There we go. All right. 10 seconds, Steve. 10. Get in there.
Oh.
Sorry, man.
One more quick. One more. There it is.
Oh.
Come on, Jeff. 5.
Oh, yeah. Oh. You can do it.
3. Come on, you got one more.
Put it in.
1.
God almighty.
Must bounce on the bottom of that club. Thanks, man.
But I was right over the thing every single time.
That's death, dude. That's death.
All right. Like
Oh, it's tough. Thank you.
That's tough. I mean, that's, you know, you're just in a hurry.
I know you start rushing and chunking and
Yeah.
excellent.
When I got up there, I was thinking, man, get a feel for it. This is not going to be a problem. I'll walk home with the prize. But it was not that easy. It was not that easy at all.
At the halfway point, John is closest to the mulligan with 3 balls in the funnel.
All right, Anthony. We've always wanted to hit these carts on the driving range, but now it really counts. It's not a bad deal.
I
Hit a
usually go
cart.
with my driver, but this will be hard.
You knocked the cart over.
I got off to a slow start. I saw what Garrett did with the hand. I thought it was a great idea, and they came out real cluster. I should have just went with the bang. So
That was wild. I've never done that. I mean, we used to hit range balls at a range and try to hit the ball picker, you know. But hitting lob wedges into a cart that's moving like a bucket, you know, was pretty fun. I really enjoyed it.
I play that shot all the time. I mean, first thing I do when I go to the course is I open up my lob wedge and just hit flops onto a green just to get feel. And I was thinking, man, that's all. This is made for me.
I was watching the guys, and everybody seemed to just rush. And, you know, guys were only getting 2 or 3, and we had a minute and a half. So my thinking is, I'd rather hit some quality shots. Let's start off slow. You know, if I had 10 balls and took my time with 10, you know, I still went a little quick, but if I took my time with 10, I felt like I could still make 3 or 4 if I really was slow. So I figured, let's get off to a good start. Let's focus on the first few, try to get a feel, and get one early. You know, that's the key. I think just getting that first one's the hardest part.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, yes!
Oh, good shot.
I just did not hit that shot very well. I switched wedges to a 60 degree, and that was the wrong club for me. I should have been hitting a 56 the whole time. And the first 2 balls with it, I kept thinking 56, 56, 56. And after that, I couldn't get my mind back into the game.
When I got up there, I was thinking, man, get a feel for it. This is not going to be a problem. I'll walk home with the prize. But it was not that easy. It was not that easy at all.
Yes!
Hey, good shot.
25.
Good shot. Oh, there you go.
There it is. One more, Randy. One more.
that's it.
Nice.
That's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good shot.
Come on, Craig.
Yes. Oh.
Oh, man.
He's backing up.
Get in. Oh.
10 seconds, Anthony.
Oh, man.
10 seconds.
One, hit it.
There you go.
Get one off.
Oh.
That was unbelievable. You did really well. You started, you know, you really even took a practice swing.
I was just trying to get a little
I'm
feel.
going,
try
this
to go
guy's
slow.
feeling pretty good about it. Now, if there were points for how many times somebody hit the cart, you would have won.
Yeah.
Really,
You kept nailing it. It's all right. Technique was tremendous.
Yeah.
You know, little hinge here, little pivot there, and it was just hard to gauge, wasn't it?
Oh!
Good going there. That was
Great
good.
job.
You tied the lowest.
Woo!
Good job, man.
Good job.
I want to win, so because I'm a competitive guy. You know, if we were playing Parcheesi right now or pitching penny, it doesn't matter. We all want to win these things. I probably have the most normal lifestyle. You said outside, most of these guys are chasing mini tours and that sort of thing. So, you know, while these guys are thinking swing mechanics and everything, I'm, you know, common Jeremiah was a bullfrog through the shots, and obviously it showed.
Yep, got to play off.
Playoff, top 3.
All right, so let's get John, Justin, and Randy up here.
All right.
Getting
All
ready
right,
for
guys.
a playoff.
Good going.
Okay. Don't forget, the Mulligan and the Sony Home Theater, all up for grabs.
Like it.
Okay?
You ready?
Absolutely. My forearms were on fire. I mean, I must have hit 35 balls within, a minute and 30 seconds. And it's something you don't do every day. So your fast switch muscles, aren't prepared for it.
There you go.
One.
It's good.
All right, hey, Ray.
Boom.
Oh, man.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Good. Got it.
When we were in the playoff, I was kind of hoping I was going to go first to try to post a number and put the pressure on them. If you can beat me, great. If you can't, oh well. And in the same token, it's nice to go last because you know what you got to do.
Yes. Yes.
Go. 10 seconds. Take your time. You got time. Yes, 3. That's your name.
2.
Yes.
5.
Oh. 2. Get it off. Good job.
That was good.
That is terrible. Ready to stop. Smooth, baby, smooth.
1. Go in. Oh, baby!
I felt like I was hitting a lot of good shots in that playoff, and they kept bouncing off the truck. They just weren't going in, and I just couldn't get that fourth one in there. And
Oh, that went off.
His last ball, we had 2 seconds left, go in the basket. I mean, it was good to see somebody win because that's the way it should be.
You got the Mully, and you got the Sony Home Theater. Woo.
Yeah, baby.
I mean, you couldn't script it any better. I mean, what a great feeling, at the buzzer. I mean, how often do you get a chance to hit a moving target playing golf at the buzzer? It's just a memory I'll cherish forever.
Congratulations to you, Justin. Great job. Next up, we're going to head off to the elimination challenge, and I'm sorry to say that one of you guys will be going home. You guys ready? All right, let's roll. Come on.
All of us want to win, but I think that the one thing that's stuck in the back of everybody's mind is don't be the first guy out. Don't be the first guy out.
Shaft's good for you. Probably want a few more degrees on it. That shaft is dead straight.
To be honest, it gets a little aggravating when he just sits there and says, oh, that was a good one. Well, duh, we can see. You don't need to tell us it's good.
Life of a professional golfer. Glamour. Let me tell you something. In all fairways and greens, folks.
You get to figure it out real fast. There's some quiet ones, there's some noisy ones, there's some funny ones.
Hey, how big the mosquitoes up here?
Big.
Because I'm going to tell you what, I have an allergic reaction. Really? It'll make my head swell up.
Jeff is our natural southerner of the group. He's got the southern drawl.
He had some of the best sayings, I think, on the show. And, he'd get up to hit a shot and he'd be like, look at this, look at this.
Look at this. Watch this. Hey, watch this.
And when he's nervous, you know he's nervous. He doesn't try to hide these sorts of things.
Are you ever supposed to stop getting nervous?
The fiery competitor doesn't ever back down.
It's going to be some stiff competition. And not only is that exciting, but it's letting me follow my dream, so that I can see if I'm going to be able to do this or if I'm too old,
The chef never abandons his food.
He hates cooking. I mean, she just hates it.
I did 3 to 4 hours every day.
Wow.
For 10 days straight, just working on any shot I could think of in the heat.
So you're ready?
Yeah, lost a lot of weight.
Coming from a small town, there was a lot of athletes that had an opportunity to do a lot of great things, but for one reason or another, they didn't do it. Well, now I have my opportunity to do something great, and people will absolutely love it. It'll make them. This is not just for me. If I do well, it makes them feel good.
These guys are hyper. I've just been trying to stay relaxed and not.
So what do you do to relax?
I just be relaxed, I guess.
It just comes naturally, this whole chill thing.
No, I mean, I'm pretty hyper, but as far as golf goes, the more pressure you put on, the more build up, the worse you play usually.
My wife is invested a lot of time, energy, and effort dealing with me. She's really happy because she knows that I hate to say the word dream, but it's just something I felt like I could do and I wanted to do. And this is, like I said, this is the biggest thing I've ever done in my life.
9. So that's like 3 wood for me.
Hitting balls, I think as golfers, you get an opportunity to really learn a lot about golfers because you get to see their swings. I think Garrett really scoping the competition.
Maybe 3 degrees.
You know, he's walking around the range, and sure enough, we were beating balls. Well, he was spending more time walking up and down the range, feeling, hey, I'm the man, I got it, or whatever.
You get some? Where'd you get them from? Yo, mama. Straight as a die. Shaft's good for you. Probably want a few more degrees on it. That shaft is dead straight for you.
To be honest, it gets a little aggravating when he just sits there and says, oh, that was a good one. Well, duh, we can see. You don't need to tell us it's good.
The point is, the rest of us, we were working. And I am one who observes. I look around the range, then I'll hit a ball. But just walking from side to side, not getting in. But maybe that's his way of doing it. I don't know.
About 290, it's about it for me, average. Not big.
290?
That's it, average, that's it.
I think Garrett went about sort of a survivor mentality, and he started to use some mind games on some of the guys to try and, maximize his position. He was there to play a game.
And 80% of the fairways, which was pretty good.
And I think that rubs people the wrong way.
Like I'm saying, you don't know what the person's like, how they're going to be like until you get them on the course. And that's when you're hitting those good shots or even when you're hitting the bad shots. And that's where it's going to be proven.
You got a group of guys, maybe 3 or 4 guys that are relatively loud, funny guys. But when the camera rolls, you see the personalities change. And it's funny to see how the personalities all sort of shift in the middle, The paranoia starts creeping in.
Hey, could y'all get them quiet over there, please?
This is Khaki Cousins Golf Course.
Me and Casey.
This is one of my stomping grounds. Played Dollar No Holler. I played college golf here. 5.55, automatic 2 downs. I played high school golf here. Birdie doubles, eagle triples. Let's play some golf. Casey, Jody, and Eb, those are my good buddies. Eb's been in swing reconstruction for a few years. Jody's a good putter. He helps me with my putting. Casey is Jody's brother. He's just starting to get real good at golf, like being able to shoot in the 70s a lot.
Really?
This is Eb, playing out of Valdosta, Georgia. He's a redneck.
He's hard on himself, just like he's hard on hard on me. If I hit a bad shot, he's like, what was that?
Wow, that's good.
He's confident, he's brash, and I think that's the way you gotta be.
I mean, that's pure. What more do you want out of me?
He'll tell you what he thinks, that's for sure.
That sucks.
It's golf 24/7.
Perfect.
No, you didn't.
I hit it on.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I always seem to find a way to win.
Nice drop in the water.
How you doing?
Great.
Everyone feeling good?
As a golfer, you're very anxious to get that first tee shot done with, get out, get your round going. So I don't know about the other guys, but I was very anxious to get to the elimination challenge and get it started.
This is how this works. Again, this challenge will test your ability to control your distance.
First thing is it's going to be the average of 3 balls. Now, guys, if you hit one of the shots and you mishit it, and say you're 30 yards short of that line or long of the white line that we have drawn across the fairway, it's going to be really tough. It puts more pressure on you to try to hit the second, third ball better.
The object of this challenge is to control distance by hitting to a line painted across the fairway. Each competitor will hit 3 shots from a yardage determined by their order of finish in the previous skills challenge. This is a distance challenge. The line will extend infinitely. So if a golfer hits it outside of the fairway, they can still end up with a good score if their distance is on. The competitor with the highest 3-shot average will be eliminated.
The key's going to be distance control 3 times in a row, and I want to show you what I would do in this situation. I'm at about 145 here. If you just step back just for a second, you've got 2 options. One is to take your 145 club, and in here I've got the 9-iron, And what's interesting about the yardage is it's 140, but it's uphill and slightly into the wind. So take that into consideration. Obviously, if you're going to hit the 9-iron, you go ahead and make a full swing. You make the full swing and get it up there and see where that comes down. And that's not too bad. Okay, or I can take a little 7-iron, choke it down, and just hit a little controlled shot. I'm going to take it back short, go through it, and try to control that spin. That ball's not spinning near as much. My opinion is you either take the full shot, stock, whatever it is that you hit, say whatever your distance is going to be, from 140 to 158, depending on how you finished in the last contest, and then just kind of get a feel for it, or you can go ahead and hit the knockdown. Okay?
And your first shot is so important because it's going to put pressure on you for the other 2 shots that you need to hit afterwards to get the average as low as possible. And based on the last skills challenge, because Justin finished first, he's going to start at the 140 marker. And Mark, where's Mark? Mark, okay. Mark, because you finished last, you're going to start way back there at the 158-yard marker. So let's also remember that Justin, because he won the last skills challenge, has a mulligan that he can use here. So if he wishes to use this, he can use it and redo any one of his 3 shots to reduce his average and potentially eliminate one of his other brethren.
When I hit the shot, I hit a little thin, but I thought it was going to be the right distance. And when it came up 30 feet short, I mean, I immediately knew this is where I'm taking my. I said, thank God I got this mulligan, because I know I can do better than that.
Yeah, he nuked that. That wasn't a baby 9 by any chance, was it? Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
The mulligan really helped, because then I knocked it 4 feet and 2 inches or something like that.
Good use of a mulligan. Good shot.
You get off to a good start like that, that definitely took pressure off.
That was a little fuzzy whistle job. That's what fuzzy does.
Short.
A little short.
Didn't hit it very good.
A little longer up there, that wind starts blowing, you know?
John, you're up next.
You know, you're playing from the 142 mark. That looks good.
My second shot was, again, with a 9-iron. Just a little softer, and it got up in the wind, and we kind of turned it over a little bit and pulled a little short left.
What club is that, Flex? Oh, that's a
nice
good shot.
shot.
Stop. Stop. Good shot.
All right.
Very nice.
There you go, Flex. How'd that feel?
Felt pretty good, but I kind of pulled it a little bit.
Randy is he's a funny guy. He's a really good golfer, and when you meet him, he's not one of the talkers. I mean, he's got great personality, but he's not one of these guys going to brag on his game. He's one of the ones I think guys might overlook in this competition. I think he's going to be there near the end.
Hey, impressive.
Very nice.
Impressive. Very, very impressive.
Very nice.
Are you breathing again?
Yeah.
You know, the only word I can come up with is nervous. Spine tingling. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. I really felt the 8-iron was the club, except the wind really came up on my second shot. Then it threw it left, and even though I had a better pass on the ball, it wound up a couple feet shorter than the first.
Steve,
All right,
you're
Steve.
up next.
You got the club?
All 3 shots were 3/4-8s. They were nothing blasted. You know, all 3 choked down a little bit. I said 9-irons. If the wind gusts, I'm dead, because it's gonna catch a shooter, and it's just gonna go straight up in the air, which I think we saw a couple of people do today.
Awesome.
Oh, that's
Right on the line.
Oh, it could be a 0.
That once I got to 0, then I said I'm in. I mean, there's just no way unless I hit it into Wisconsin that I'm not going to make it.
Awesome.
Thinking, well, I'm a little nervous, a little anxious. I'm 30 feet short, do the smart thing, pick up a 7-iron for the next shot, which is what I did. I went to the 7-iron, and this time I released the club. I compressed the ball very well. It went 49 feet over. I'm thinking to myself, all right, I made 2 pretty good swings at the ball. Nothing went wild left or right. They were both pretty solid, and I'm almost getting eliminated here.
Charles, you're up next.
You got a group of guys, maybe 3, 4 guys that are relatively loud, funny guys. But when the camera rolls, you see the personalities change. And it's funny to see how the personalities all sort of shift in the middle, If paranoia starts creeping in.
Hey, could y'all get them quiet over there, please? When it comes to playing, I can't joke around because I could sit around, joke around, whatever, and I won't get the job done. I have to put my game face on. This is what I want to do, and I want this to be my reality, not a dream. So I don't live in fantasy land. This is real to me, so that's why I'm stone face.
Good shot, Charles.
That's all right.
Okay, that's all right. It's okay.
That's about me. My game is the short game.
The short irons usually are my strong game. I don't have any real weaknesses except short putts. I mean, I hit a lot of fairways, a lot of greens. I was thinking just hit it close, hit it 10 feet a few times, and maybe I can pick it up, and I just misclubbed it. Way short.
It was hot, and my hands were sweating. I was trying to work it back. The breeze was against you and left. If you cut it, it was going to go a little bit shorter, but it just flew. I mean, the thing went a mile. I was pretty pissed off about it, to be honest. I would have airmailed any green in the world, basically.
It's just you rolled down the hill. That's not too bad.
It was a bit of a challenge out there today. I unfortunately did not take enough water early on in the day, and all of a sudden it just started going downhill from the time we walked over there. Got dehydrated, started seeing spots, and I had no golf swing whatsoever. No, you gotta be kidding me.
Bounced out the fairway.
It came out. It wasn't what you wanted. But you know what? It's in the fairway.
I swear the only thing I was thinking at that point was, I'm done. Game's over, because when I went to take that swing, that was really when all the spots started showing up in my vision. So I wasn't even upset. I was mad that I didn't execute the shot, but I wasn't mad. I wasn't mad about getting sent off, possibly being sent off the show.
What are you hitting there, Jeff?
I'm gonna try to go ahead and hit this 7.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, if you miss that shot, you're out of here. There's no tomorrow. And it's one shot, and that's what's so difficult about it. And I knew I was right on the line.
After round 2, Randy was atop the leaderboard and in a relatively safe position. But some others are one bad swing away from going home.
All right, you guys, well, this is the final round. And after this, one of you will be eliminated. The other 9 will have a chance at the big break. Okay, so step up. Randy, you're first.
And all I want to do is make solid contact. And I think I was going to fare okay.
That's a 0.
Down a little bit. Oh, that's good.
Nice shot.
Oh, great shot.
Randy,
Nice shot. That might be right on the
safe,
line.
buddy. He says, I'd rather not breathe if I could hit it that good.
Average of 4 feet something. I was happy, very happy.
You picked it up?
You saw the guy sweating it out the end, and once you post a 0 and cut your figure in half, that makes the world of difference. And I just took it up the right-hand side and just said, just get airborne. That's all you want to do. And once I got airborne, then I knew I was all right.
Keep walking towards the line.
Pretty safe. Good job.
Yeah, that's all I want to do, get it up in the air.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I felt comfortable. I mean, I got to be one guy out of 10. I mean, I wasn't thinking that, but I really wasn't worried. I really was just like, I'm just gonna go hit the shot. I'm just kind of have the mentality, just go do the best you can and see where the chips fall. It's a keeper.
Great shot. Good golf swing.
Thanks.
Oh,
Very
that's
nice.
all over
That's
there.
right there.
Good job.
That looks pretty safe, pal.
Yeah. Okay, John.
Well, Flex, keep smoothing.
The pressure does rise a little bit. I mean, I felt a little tense over that last third shot, to be honest. Not to lie about it. It wasn't nerve-wracking. I did feel a little bit of pressure. It's just because I wanted to actually hit a good shot. And I just went back to basics and tried to handle the shot the best I can and just executed the best way I could do.
Very nice.
Oh, that little golf swing there. Nice, compact, good golf swing. That's good.
Okay, Charles,
Okay.
you're up next.
I was 5th. So I figured being 5th, all I had to do was hit it in there 20 feet or whatever, and those guys had to hit some miraculous shots or whatever to beat me.
Looks pretty good, Charles.
Stop walking, buddy.
Get up.
After I hit it and I didn't hit the best shot, I still went through the numbers, thinking about the math, figuring it out. I felt the averages were on my side. Let's just put it that way.
You got the right club this time, my friend?
What are you hitting there, Jeff?
I'm gonna try to go ahead and hit this 7.
Okay.
Hey, if you miss that shot, you're out of here. There's no tomorrow. And it's one shot, and that's what's so difficult about it. And I knew I was right on the line. Rick, you know, he gave me some good advice. He said, you may want to go to a different club and get it there. And that's what I did. The third time, I took the 7-iron, I listened, and I wound up 14 feet away. It's got to be better than the other two.
Well, at least you got the right club after the first 2. If you'd have hit an 8-iron again, I think I'd have hit you over the head.
I put myself in a position where I could have been eliminated.
Craig's at 40 feet 9 inches. He knows he has to hit a good shot.
The worst pressure I ever felt was the first tee shot as a professional. Trying to take that club back was tough, and I'm thinking, I got through that. I'd been trying to call on my past 3 weeks' experience playing out on tour, and I did that, and I hit a good solid shot. It was right where I was looking, 16 feet.
That's a good one. Let's see how they walk to the line.
It wasn't my best swing ever, but it was good enough to get the job done. I was happy.
Garrett, hit it in there tight, buddy.
All right.
You know what you have to do.
Come on, Garrett. No, I wasn't that nervous. You know, I've been in that situation, just hitting an iron. I didn't think it was that, you know, that much of a deal.
That looks good. That looks right side.
What was the club this time? Get up.
Short.
It's behind that.
Did you hit the 9 or the 8?
9.
He went with the 9 that time. He wanted to hit one, launch it.
I thought the adrenaline might pump it. I didn't hit it as good as I could have. Short.
Shot number 3 measured at 41 feet,
Okay.
11 inches for a 3-shot average of 47 feet.
Okay, Charles, you're
4
safe.
inches.
Charles, you're safe. You're safe. And now you're waiting to see what's happening. All right. Yeah, let's go back. Anthony?
I mean, I was real nervous. I did not want to be gone. I didn't feel like I deserved to be gone after the shots I had hit. I just didn't want to be out. I'd get dogged by my friends if I was out in the first show.
That's a good one there. Win hit it. No, that's perfect.
I thought I hit it good enough, and I knew it wasn't going to be 50 feet, but I thought it could be 35. And you know, they're all good golfers. Mark had to go still. I was sitting there just waiting for the call.
Shot number 3 measured at 25 feet, 11 inches for a 3-shot average of 42 feet, 4 inches.
Once I saw that I got Garrett, I was fine. I mean, job accomplished, mission accomplished, you know.
I had no golf swing whatsoever, and spent probably between the second and third rounds the whole time just deciding I was probably going to withdraw. And then I thought, well, you know, I'm just going to take one last swing at this.
8 golfers have played themselves through to the next show and are one step closer to their big break and the 4 Canadian Tour exemptions. But for Garrett and Mark, one swing is about to send one of them home.
So Mark, here you are. Last one to hit. You've got 53 feet, 3 inches as your average.
I had no golf swing whatsoever, and spent probably between the second and third rounds the whole time just deciding I was probably going to withdraw. And then I thought, well, you know, I'm just going to take one last swing at this. You know, I've got to take one pass on the golf ball. Worst case scenario, I'm out.
Going out.
Whoops. You broke it. No, that ball is left.
You're good.
But according to the route that you've been going, you wanted to do that again, didn't you? It's hard to say.
I had planned to take the ball out all the way out to the left because I saw that rough sitting out there, and I thought, no one said anything about hitting it outside of the scope of these two sides. So I'm going to play a low screamer out there. It's going to run up that hill, and it's going to stop in the rough. It's going to look horrible. People are going to make fun of me, and we're all going to have a laugh about it. But you know what? The rule of the game here is get through to the next round.
shot measured in at 6 feet 9 inches. Wow. Shot average of 37 feet 8 inches.
That is unbelievable.
Thank you, my friend.
That is unbelievable.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, everybody. Enjoy it.
Keep working at it.
Yeah,
All right.
keep
You got,
playing.
you got that senior tour, and you're thinking about that. So
Right.
You got some other things to think about.
That's
now.
true.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Okay.
And thanks again, everybody. That's
Thank
great.
you so
Great
much.
time.
Okay.
You know, it's a little depressing, but you know, it's still okay. You know, it was, you know, I just didn't do as well as I should have. That's all there is to it. And I can't make a lot of excuses about, you know, this and that. But it's harder on me waiting between shots than the younger guys. I know that. But that's, you know, that's neither here nor there. They outperform me, so they win.
I hate seeing, you know, somebody leave, but I'm just glad it wasn't me.
Put my bag in it and see what else I'm missing here.
I was bummed out. I mean, I don't have a roommate for tonight. You know, I got a chance to know Garrett very well. My hat's definitely off to Garrett. I know he do great things, and I was happy to meet him.
Garrett being gone, I don't care. It's not me. So he was a nice guy. He was, I think, probably the oldest one. Yeah, better him than me. He was real nice, but I didn't care. I mean, I didn't care.
Who has the nicest swing? Besides me? God, it's hard to single out. I really can't answer that.
You know, you can do a lot of things until the flag goes up.
Great.
And it's unfortunate that he didn't get it done, you know, when the flag was up. But you know, to be honest, I thought he was kind of casing the whole joint and was a little bit, you know, kind of trying to work the crowd since he got here. And you know what? I didn't really appreciate it too much.
It really is. There was nothing phony. Everybody got along really well.
I mean, it's blackmail, but if you're trying to make a living, sometimes you have business too.
Yeah, the name of the show is Big Break. I've probably had the biggest break so far and be able to go through from this round. It's like a get out of jail free cards.
Of course, I couldn't do it there, but yeah, I went inside. I was doing flips. I mean, it was like, thank you. I made it. I finally got through the first day.
Now you're seeing them, how they work under pressure, how they work their short games, and how they hit the ball. And yeah, you just kind of get a gauge of what you might be doing.
And I also know that some more guys are gonna be eliminated, you know, and I need to do whatever I can mentally, you know, just to prepare myself for the challenges. And it's difficult because you don't know what you're in store for.
Hopefully just the challenges are, you know, they're up my alley. I guess, I mean, we're all pretty good. The challenges, if you can't pull them off a little bit, you shouldn't really be here anyways.
You're not the first guy off. You made it through the first day. We're on to tomorrow. Yeah, it is a boost of confidence because now my chances went from 1 in 10 to 1 in 9.
Next time on The Big Break.
There's this genuine concern about guys are starting to get eliminated.
Every single shot is so big. Every shot.
Get up.
Get up the hill. Up the hill.
Reality sets in as the competition heats up.
And I do got a problem with that. I want to bring it up.
The guys face a new set of challenges and the pressure mounts.
My strategy has been terrible in every one of them. Work out. Oh, my friends are I'm gonna hear it. What are you doing?
Who will go home and who will move on?
You know, I think everybody here thinks they have game to make it.
Get in the hole. Go in the hole.
Next time on The Big Break.
I'm ready. Whatever it takes, let's do it.
I play a lot better rounds, again, with friends than I tend to do in tournaments. And I think that I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I thought if I get 4 or 5, I'd like to really see what that's like. And then maybe take another run at the senior tour. It looks to me like I'm probably just going to be working full time again. So playing on the weekends occasionally.